Okay, so this will be the IAT 1 to 10 gameplay of Bungie's Destiny. My name is Tim Ma, and my student number is 301179423. Okay, so basically we will start from the PS3 startup screen here. This is just a navigation app. I just want to show you guys how the platform works. So basically we have TV, video, and services. This part basically just it just shows. I just want to show you guys how it promotes connectivity. Now, if I go to the friends list over here, you can see that I have a few friends here and there. Now, I haven't really had time to play much Destiny. However, it doesn't really matter if you have your own friends or not, because Destiny itself, as we will see, which is this game right here, gives a lot of player connectivity through matchmaking, and that will pretty much allow you to play with other people even if you don't have online friends from out of the game. So as we'll see in addition later on, also there will be lots of online forums for Destiny that allow people to connect with each other as well. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so now here's the game. In the traditional video game, a player can play regardless if they have internet connection or not. If they have internet, they could play online multiplayer, and if they didn't, they could play single player. But in this game, you wouldn't even be able to get past this page if you didn't have internet, and the reason is because Destiny promote pretty much all multiplayer gameplay, and as we'll see, it's a huge MMORPG. Okay, now, one of the first elements for an MMORPG to be satisfied is the condition of having some form of RPG, which stands for role-playing game. Games encompassing this title usually have character customization for players to choose from. You can choose their preferences, and you can choose their own characters, and in this case, let's just see here, you can choose from 3 classes of Titan, Hunter, and Warlock, and these are all 3 of the different kinds. And once you go into them, you can choose their facial features and whether or not you want them to be male or female, depending on what your preference is. And here, my character is level 27, and we will be playing with the Hunter today. Also, as I play this game, let's keep in mind of the motivational design mentioned in Week 10's readings from Jesse Shell's videos. In the improved motivational design that Shell suggests, he suggests that there are 5 keys to a successful game. The first one is to make it appealing, the second is to make it engaging, the third is to make it effortless, and the fourth is to make it uncheatable. The last but not least, the 5th one is to make it not embarrassing. As we move along the game, I'll point these out when the conditions are met. Okay, so here's the quick storyline of the game. The setting of the game takes place in a distant future, dubbed the Golden Period for mankind. Supposedly we were saved by something called the Traveler, which is a white alien form that allows humans to reach the stars. Now, this last standing safeguarded place out of all the planets in our solar system is called the Tower, so this is the Tower right here. And basically, the Tower is the last safe sanctuary protected by all the guardians of the universe, and it has become the player, that's us, to save mankind from the brink of extinction, known as the Collapse. And the Collapse pretty much comes from all these other planets trying to attack Earth and stuff like that, trying to take the resources from us. And from then on, we basically just complete missions and fend off all the other alien life forms. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, Bungie's reasoning for calling it a shared universe is simple and unreasonable. Unlike the traditional MMO, which is the traditional mass multiplayer online, Destiny does not allow player chat for all players within a server, which was the main ingredient in the past for the traditional MMO like Diablo and stuff like that. But especially on PC, where players are given the luxury of a keyboard, it's much easier to type and talk to each other. Now, PlayStation games have never excelled at allowing players to type to each other, and instead they promote connectivity amongst players through actual conversation and voice. And this is allowed as long as players are in the same fire team or group, and fire teams and groups would be right here in the roster. So as long as you have people on the fire team, you can add them in. Now as we take a look around, so this is the tower, so I'll just scroll around. So as we can see, like, as we take a look around, the tower is nice and all the players look cool, and there's lots of people. It's an MMO, so there's also lots of people playing at the same time, playing along the same storyline as I am. So the first condition of the motivational design, which is mentioned from Shell's readings, is appeal. So we can check that off, because I would say, hopefully you believe it too, that this world is quite appealing. It looks nice. We're looking at planets, and it's just beautiful. It's a scenery. In addition, the game's parameters and modes can easily be accessed. So if I want to leave this planet, I just press select and I can go to orbit. So we can run around to the people and engage with vendors or speak to them. So for instance, if I want to talk to Feartan over here, I can just dance with them. I can talk to him and add him in, or I can control and press square to talk to this person right here, and this guy's just a CPU vendor, so it's controlled by the Destiny server itself. It's not actually a player, and because of this, we can say that the second of Shell's condition, which is engaging, is pretty much satisfied, and also effortless. Having effortless control through your player is also the third of Shell's conditions of having a good game. So we can say we have pretty much satisfied that condition as well. Okay, now to the next section. Now in Destiny, players can see what other players are wearing in their inventory, and this pretty much promotes like social connectivity and competition as well. The yellow item right here is called an exotic, and it's the highest rated type of weapon that you can get. The second being purple, the third being blue, which is this one, and the last one would be green, which is this color right here. And those are for the beginner levels, which is they're pretty straightforward. It is entirely this system of achieving the almost unachievable that players are so drawn into the game. The leveling up, so right here, the collecting the weapons and collecting the armor, pretty much are all pretty much reward payoffs for players when they cooperate to win in the MMORPG that we're playing right now. Okay, so here is the matchmaking for players. This is the PvE that we're about to do, and the PvE is called the Vanguard in this game, and player versus environment is a large part of it because it allows players to share an environment to play against the aliens, and that's the part that we're going to do right now. The second part is the PvP, which is the player versus player, and we will go through that after in the Crucible, but right now we're just going to do a weekly heroic strike. Now, normally in the game, I would have my headset on and I'd be able to speak to other players, but just for the sake of this video, I can't really do it because I gotta commentate at the same time. So I will just rush through this part right here. Okay, so in this part, I am the last guardian standing right now, and I just want to show you guys this. I'm going to choose an invisibility effect, and I'm going to revive both my teammates. I'm showing this part because it shows that basically there's a lot of player trust and player cooperation in this game, and the interconnectivity of it all really makes it the game that it is. So I just want to show this part. Now, as we move on to the next section of this video, we will be focusing on a portion of the game called the Crucible. Now, in this section of the game, it's the PvP portion of it, so it's really competitive. It's all player against player. There are 4 modes, and all 4 of these modes are evened out so that players have equal possibility to kill each other, whereas the Iron Banner, which is a competitive multiplayer mode, allows players to have unevened out armor and weapon efficiencies, whereas the 4 modes pretty much promote fair play, and it's pretty much uncheatable, so that level 1s all the way to level 34s all have an equal chance to play fairly, and that's a really important part of the game. Now, the uncheatable factor of this game is important because also it satisfies also the fourth of Shell's improved motivational design that we mentioned earlier in the video. Again, the first one is to make it appealing, to make it engaging, and to make it effortless, and we satisfied those 3 in the tower. The 4th one is to be uncheatable, and the 5th is to be not embarrassing. Now, the Crucible here, as we can see, is more than a 3-player matchmaking, unlike the Vanguard. If we can see from the top, from the screen, right now it's 1 out of 12 evaluating Guardians. So we basically get matched up with 11 other Guardians, and we play a 6-on-6. Also, this game has a scoreboard, so basically right now I'm at the bottom, and we are in Bravo team, and we're facing the Alpha team. Okay, so as we are nearing the end of the game, you can see what will happen once we finish.
Zone A secure.
So right now we have all zones controlled, and we can either win through 2 ways. We can either win with 20,000 points, or we can win if we have all the zones captured. Oh, hold it off. That should be it, the last kill. There we go. From it. So from every Crucible that we play, we get an extra reward. Although blue isn't the best type of color that we want, it's a pretty common thing. And then we also get post-game, stats. And from there, we pretty much play again if we want to, but we will end it there. Okay, now just to close off the video, we're going to come back to the main screen. Now, in Shell's videos for Week 10's readings, we explored the Carnegie Mellon professor's theory on games, as he spoke of the self-determination theory. The self-determination theory states that for people to be mentally satisfied, we must have something that complies with the factors of competence, autonomy, and relatedness. Competence is to be good at what we do, autonomy is to have the freedom and control over the things we do, and relatedness is to have the connectivity that we want with others. Now, when a game meets all 3 of these factors, players will become satisfied if all of these conditions are met. Here in Destiny, the Vanguard has it as well as the Crucible for competence, as people want to master and be competent at what they do through the game. Now, as we step back, we receive autonomy, or in other words, the freedom to do what we want. At any point in the game, if I wanted to leave, if I wanted to choose another mode, I could have done it. And that pretty much gives us the autonomy in the game. And last of all, relatedness. Now, the relatedness that we have is completely apparent throughout the entire game. We play along with team members through the Crucible, and we play along with team members through the Vanguard, and it's really apparent communication and teamwork in this game. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, to close off the rest of this presentation, we are going to go back to the last of Shell's condition from the motivational design. Now, the motivational design, as mentioned earlier, is satisfied when a game is appealing, engaging, effortless, uncheatable, and last but not least, not embarrassing. Not embarrassing is a pretty basic game condition, and sometimes we find ourselves embarrassed to say we play certain games, whether or not they may be too childish. Now, this last condition is purely one of perspective, so to whoever is watching, if you believe that this game, Destiny that I played today, is embarrassing, then I guess I failed in explanation. However, if you believe Destiny is a game almost for anyone and everyone itself, then hopefully you believe me when I say the game is not embarrassing at all by any means. And when we say that, we have finally satisfied all of the motivational design from Shell's condition. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you for watching my video.